the Journalists and Writers Foundation, of which Fethullah Gulen is the honorary president, organized an international conference with 3 panels in New York during the 73rd session of the UN General Assembly. The conference was organized in partnership with the Alliance for Shared Values, which hosted participants from the United Nations and the non-governmental organizations across the globe. The UNGA conference aimed to contribute to the general strategic vision of the 73rd session of the UN General Assembly, where the world leaders were gathered, and the UN member states were represented at the highest level. The international participants shared their perspectives on peace building and conflict prevention, human rights, and press freedom with possible solutions. The international conference was organized in collaboration with 18 civil society organizations from 13 different countries, including Australia, Austria, Brazil, Kenya, Netherlands, Egypt, South Africa, India, Spain, and the USA. In the first panel, the culture of peace and conflict prevention was discussed. In his opening speech, head of the Peace Studies Department at Payap University in Thailand, Dr. Suchart Sedhamalini said, "We can achieve peace by visiting and learning from other faiths. Dialogue means that we are all different, but we are all part of the answer, and we are all part of the solution together." Professor of Citizenship and Diversity from the Netherlands, Dr. Boekje Prins, says that there is a need for citizens with democratic virtues to have a democratic culture.
Who understands and knows.
In the first session, Tamina Abdulsabur Peyende, a graduate of the Afghan Turk High School, who won the first place in the 2018 university entrance exam in her country, was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by the Journalists and Writers Foundation, which was presented to her by internationally recognized human rights activist and lawyer Mr. Javier Cremades from Spain. In the second panel, panelists from Australia, South Africa, Germany, and Spain discussed the causes and management of humanitarian crises throughout the world, under the heading At-Risk Populations, Human Rights, Migration, and Refugees. Brazilian Bar Association's International Relations Committee chairwoman, Clarita Costa Maia, moderated the Human Rights Panel session where women's rights violations in Turkey was presented by Hafsa Girdap, Director of Women's Affairs at the Advocates for Silence Turkey. Beyond the Water photo exhibition was included in the conference as well. Alex Morel, professor of photography at St. John's University, described the background of the lives lost at Ivros River. The exhibition showcased the challenges faced by Turkish refugees fleeing from Turkey to Greece across the Ivros River and the Aegean Sea.
Are right now behind those walls. I invite you all to spend some time throughout the day if you can.
The last panel, entitled Press Freedom for Sustainable Peace, hosted distinguished journalists who emphasized the significance of press freedom that ensures freedom of thought and expression, which is key to human rights and democracy.
Thank you, the international community.
The panel was moderated by the respected journalists of South Africa, Sophie Mokoena, Robert Mahoney, Deputy Executive Director of the Committee to Protect Journalists, said that freedom of the press is under attack in many countries, and Mohammed Amin El Masri, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of Al Aram Daily from Egypt, discussed that the media should be empowered to inform the public.
Story of a king.
Former editor-in-chief of Zaman Daily, Abdul Hamid Balici, talked about the shrinking space of journalists in Turkey along with stunning video clips describing the attacks on the media and freedom of expression.
And replaced it with Turkish flag.
He began his speech by asking, how do people protect themselves without democracy? He also added that Turkey, under the leadership of the AKP government, turned into a country where the most journalists are in prison. Balici said he was forced to live in exile as a journalist.
Indian Prime Minister said, despite the fact that there may be some problems, some bad reporting, some fake reports, etc., but the remedy, the solution is not the oppression. The plurality is the solution. So media should check itself.